Bucko's Vagabond channel. As you can tell by the title, today is going to be all about veneers. I don't know why my dog is so needy right now. Hi. Okay, go lay down. So, like I mentioned before, everything's gonna be about veneers today. I wanna first break this down into little segments. I wrote it out, that way I can help y'all keep, just an update on what I'm gonna be talking about. I'm gonna go through with the introduction first and just talk about why I'm getting them, my decision process, and what that looks like. Next, I'm going to be talking about the research and preparation, choosing a dentist, choosing a facility to go to, choosing whether I wanted composite or porcelain veneers, what to expect when you go on your first, when you decide to go on this journey of getting veneers. And then I'm going to talk about the procedure. We're going to go the day of procedure, the temporaries, what that looks like, and then we're going to go into porcelain permanents and that whole experience. And then we're gonna talk about the post-procedure and follow-up visits. So hopefully this helps y'all make an informed decision on whether or not you're gonna get veneers for yourself or not. First up, we have the question of why did I even choose to get veneers in the first place? So let's back up just a little bit. I had braces when I was in high school, and I had a huge gap in the middle of my front two teeth, which the braces fixed. And then I got a retainer, which lasted a few years, but I continued to have to get them updated because either my dog would eat them or something would happen, I would lose them. I just could never keep up with the retainer. And so over time, of course, my teeth shifted, and naturally I have a tongue thrust, which means when I'm sleeping or when my mouth is at rest, my tongue actually sits behind my front four teeth, and so naturally it pushes them out. I know there's a specific word for it. I'll find it and I'll put it right here when I go to edit this video, but I have that. It's a tongue thrust. It just sits right here. Now, I'll show videos before, which is like this, and it just wasn't fun. I always called it my corn tooth. It stuck out. I noticed it in pictures, I noticed it in photos, and so it got so bad to the point where I actually got bite, which is another form of Invisalign. Essentially, it works just like Invisalign. You take your your impressions, you send them off, you get your retainers, and then you update your bite every week or something, which that worked. But because I still had the tongue thrust, I couldn't break the habit of that. That tooth, I called it my corn tooth, it still stuck out. And it's one of those things that maybe nobody else really noticed, but I sure did, and you can definitely tell in this video. I'll show it again here. And it drove me crazy. Now, let's talk about the health reasons why I did it. I actually was biting on a piece of ice, and that same front tooth that I've always had issues with, it actually cracked in half, and you can see a line straight down the middle of it. It didn't really cause that many issues, except for it made that tooth extremely sensitive. So anything that was cold, I literally could not drink cold water because that front tooth, it just was like a nerve shock. And so with it protruding, the crack in it, and then on top of everything else, I actually got TMJ. And the TMJ, it's like mandibular junction something, I don't know, it's lockjaw basically, and pain in your jaw. The reason I got that is because one of the retainers that my dog ate back when I was in high school, I kept trying to wear it because it was the most it would flatten that tooth out, and I would wake up the next morning and that tooth would feel sore just because it was working. And the problem with it though, my dog ate it, and so the back molars of it were actually chewed off. And so the only part of the retainer that I had was the front 10 teeth, I think. Over time, little did I know, it actually caused my bite to misalign. And so I woke up and I constantly had pain in my jaw, and it's so bad where you can hear the clicking sound. So I'll see if you can hear it. You hear that crunching? That's my jaw. I knew I needed a fix that was more than just another retainer. I knew it had to be something bigger than that. And so that is ultimately why I decided to get veneers in the first place. And I do also want to mention that I ran for Miss Texas back in 2020, and the winner of Miss Texas got to get a full set of veneers. So had I won Miss Texas, I would have gotten them then. And then there was another opportunity where a dentist office was actually giving away a free set of veneers, and one of my friends actually won it, and so she got veneers. And so I think sporadically throughout my life, I knew that I was unhappy with my front teeth, and then there was all these little opportunities of getting the veneers, and so I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, and that's ultimately what led me to that decision. Now, I do want to add a little segment in here that actually wasn't mentioned in the very beginning, and that is helping you understand the difference between veneers, caps, and composites, because I think there's a huge misunderstanding in the dental world. People think that veneers are when you shave down your teeth to little tiny nubs and you have like no tooth left. And then people also don't understand the difference between veneers and composites. So I'm gonna just review what I found online about them, let you, take it as you will. So caps, the purpose is to restore and strengthen damaged or decayed teeth. So for example, my husband had a cap put in because he had a cavity that was so deep that they had to remove the decay around the tooth and put the cap on. That's where the tooth is filed down, and you're given a crown that covers the entire tooth, or a cap. So that's why they're called caps. The material is also porcelain, which is probably why it gets so confused with veneers, but it goes around the whole tooth, and veneers do not. So that's a little bit of a difference there. Now veneers are typically porcelain. They can also be composite. But actual porcelain veneers are a cosmetic enhancement of the front teeth. So you're not shaving around the whole tooth. All it's doing is shaving the front part of your tooth. Think of it as like getting your nails done. Ladies, when you file your nails, or like you go to the nail salon and they file your nails down, they're not filing it down to the skin. They're not removing your whole nail. They're just filing the surface so that they can put an adhesive and make something else stick onto it. So the veneer is a thin layer of enamel removed, and the veneer is bonded to the front of the tooth. So the material, again, like I said, can be porcelain or composite resin. Now, composites, which is also known as dental bonding. This is different as well. The purpose of these is to fill cavities, repair chips, close gaps, and improve appearance. There's a resin applied in layers, shaped and hardened with a curing light. It's literally like getting your nails done. You're not removing any of the tooth. I take that back. Sometimes dentists have to remove a little bit of the tooth for that as well. So you're removing a little bit of the tooth, and then you're putting on this like resin layer until it forms this like little tooth. The problem with composites that I've heard across the board is that they are prone to discoloration. They break a lot easier. They have a lot more upkeep down the road because they chip off in little pieces, whereas a veneer is a hard porcelain front tooth that just gets glued right on the front of your teeth. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about the difference between them all, because I genuinely was so confused. There was nothing out there that like really hammered it out well for me. And going in, once you get started like that, it all happens so fast. You really don't stop to ask the questions that you need to ask in order to understand what you're doing. And especially nowadays with all of these like veneer techs out there, oh my gosh, I absolutely would not go to a veneer tech. That is a fat no. It's not a nail tech, y'all. This is like, people have to go through dentistry school and become a doctor in order to do veneers. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm with Dr. Tyner here at Dentistry by Design, and we were just talking a little bit about like the misconception with veneers and what your teeth, like what actually happens. So could you explain a little bit of that?
So veneers are very thin, strong pieces of porcelain that we have to take a little bit of tooth structure off the front of the tooth in order so they don't look too bulky, but we're leaving the majority of the tooth intact. So when I say a little bit, we're talking about maybe a 0.5 millimeter to a millimeter, depending on the position of the teeth and where we're trying to make things look better.
So it's not going to look like little nubs?
No, not at all. We're not going to. Of course, people look at it and think, oh my goodness, my tooth is all shaped down. If we're doing full crowns, sometimes people are, they see that and they're like, oh my goodness, there's nothing left of my tooth, But most of the strength on front teeth is all on the backside.
Yeah, and that's a misconception as well, as people think that it has to be the nubs, but I think that's the difference between crowns and veneers.
We're trying to make things look better, but also be conservative as much as we can. Because we can't get that tooth structure back whenever we take it away. And for you, I don't want to do that for you.
Yeah, I still want to have something under there.
That's right. We don't want you coming back in 10 years going, man, my tooth, there's nothing left.
I have little toothpick nubs. Not here.
Not here.
All right, well, off we go. All right, let's talk a little bit about the research and preparation and why I actually chose Dentistry by Design in Richardson, Texas. So I actually found Dentistry by Design through Instagram because I was on a hunt and I was comparing different dental offices, and I actually went to 4 different dental offices to find where I was gonna end up going. And I did a consultation. I was basically interviewing the dentist, and every single time I went into an interview, I would kind of refresh myself using ChatGPT on what everything meant and what questions I should ask. And it actually helped me formulate a lot of really good questions that helped me in the long run make my decision. And ultimately, Dr. Tyner and the whole staff at Dentistry by Design blew me away and continues to blow me away. I mean, they're so friendly. It is a family-oriented facility. I mean, I met his wife on multiple occasions. It feels like you're part of the family. The same dental assistant that helped me the first time I walked in was the same one that helped me on my very last appointment, which was this morning. So I definitely feel like family now. I trust them. I know that there was many times that I was unable to get a hold of Dr. Tyner specifically because he was off doing trainings with his staff. So he's constantly upping his skills. He's making sure he's up to date. He's very knowledgeable with what he's doing. And honestly, I just felt really safe in his care. And I'm so thankful that I went to him. Some things that I noticed that differentiated Dentistry by Design and Dr. Tyner from other dental offices was that it seemed as if, it's interesting when you look on social media, because when a facility is like posting like trending little audios and they're constantly like just keeping up with the trends and stuff, there's a part of me that understands how that can get more clients in the door, especially when you're running and like operating with veneers and stuff. Like, I say that because I mean, if it's a cosmetic thing, you're trying to get clients, and I understand that. However, when it is so heavily focused on social media, it makes me question their true knowledge behind the scenes. I don't know if that makes sense. It may not make sense at all, but in my head it does. So I don't know, there was a few dentist offices that I went to that almost seemed more concerned with their social media presence than they did with the care of their patients, and that's where I kind of drew the line. One thing I really like about Dentistry by Design is that they hire people to do the job. There were times where they had camera crews coming in and filming stuff, doing it the right way. You know, I don't think they're in the business to shorthand anybody, or, you know, they're just trying to do the best job that they can do and also get the best job that they can get. And I respected that. And they were very forefront about everything. Talked to me about the pricing, they talked to me about the differences. Dr. Tyner met with me for a consultation, and we sat in their little office, and I just spilled the beans. I asked every question under the sun. I told him my concerns, and I was honest with him, and I just said, do you think you can get the job done? And ultimately he said he could, and that's truly why I ended up going with Dentistry by Design. So I definitely recommend, before you go get veneers, that you go on multiple consultations, not just 1 or 2, and interview the dentist offices, because you're gonna see that there are dentists out there who do care about the health of your teeth and not just shaving them away to create these like big, horse, monstrous teeth that everybody is so afraid of getting veneers for. But I don't feel like mine look like that, and if you do, don't tell me. But I think mine look natural. My husband didn't even notice, and I'm just beyond thankful. Okay, let's talk about what to expect and the day of procedure. So when you go in to get your veneers, you have to go in and get your teeth assessed. You talk about whether you want composites or porcelain or what you think is wrong with your teeth. Your dentist will then give you feedback on what they think will look good on you. And then you can see a digital like view of what your teeth might look like, but they're run by AI. So, I mean, it's not as accurate as it's gonna be in real life. So you can opt to do that, but it doesn't really help. They're just gonna be pretty white teeth. So that's the first part. And when you're sitting in there, you really just go through like your financing, you're gonna go through meeting the team, you're gonna go through your dates set up in order for them to get x-rays and figure out like where your teeth are sitting and getting your molds and all of that. Now, when you go in to get your temporaries, which everybody has to get temporaries, I really don't know why. Maybe in case there's something wrong or you don't like it or something while they're waiting for the porcelains to come in. That way they can fix it, but you will have to go through a process where you're getting temporary veneers put in. Let's go through the procedure first. They lay you back, just like you're gonna go get your teeth cleaned, and they're gonna inject like this numbing agent into your gums. You can still breathe out of your nose, but your face just goes numb. And it was fine. I didn't feel anything. I didn't see anything. I do remember him saying he was gonna have to give me more because I'm a redhead. Come to find out, I will share with you my issues that I had, because there was a point that I really questioned if I made the right decision or not. And I cried every single night. We will get there. But for now, they inject you and then they get to filing. And I'm telling you right now, nothing can prepare you for it. It is traumatic. You hear your teeth being grinded, your bone being grinded, you feel it because your head is like being rattled, and you smell it. It smells like flesh. It's something I'd never expected, nobody talked about, and it was traumatic. I don't know why people don't make it seem less traumatic, but it was traumatic. That took, I think, around 2 hours. And when I finally, and another thing I will say that helped a ton was bring headphones. Play music on your phone while they're drilling and doing their work, because if you're sitting there just listening to your bone being shaved off, it's a scary feeling. I think my blood pressure rose the entire time, and I could feel my heart just like beating. I had to remind myself, slow down, like take deep breaths, because I was freaking out. Like I genuinely was thinking I'm making the wrong decision here. So I'm laying in the bed, I've got my earbuds in, or the chair, I have my earbuds in, and they finally get done and they show me a picture of the temporary.
I like inject you.
You give the needle from that side.
Okay. A bunch of Botox.
Okay.
Oh my god, they look so real. Wow. Dr. Tyner, how in the world? They look so real.
Kind of real.
Yeah. I just got my temps put in. Obviously, look at my mouth. I can't talk. Oh, they're beautiful. They don't even look like veneers. What the heck? Thank you for my free Botox.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It'll wear off.
Tina? Am I touching my lip right now?
Raise your nose, your fingers up your nose.
I know, it feels like I have sticks up my nose. Or something. I want to cry, but my face won't let me. It's like my tear ducts don't work or something. That anesthesia was really good, or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
They were a little bit yellow, but that's because he just wanted them to look as natural, which is embarrassing, but as natural as possible while they were waiting for my permanents to come in. And he actually injected me with this anti-numbing agent, which that I think really messed me up because I was puffy for 3 days. Again, maybe it's a redhead thing, but I did not react well to any of the numbing cream or any of the numbing shots that I got in my gums. So that was that. Once the numbing went down and the swelling, I had my temporaries in for 3 weeks. It was not fun. I will just say that the 3 weeks, you might tell yourself, oh yeah, I can handle eating soft food. No, it's everything. It's bread. It's the softest little piece of pudding. So after 3 weeks, I go back, and this was about a week ago now? A week and a half ago? I go back, I go in, and now it's time for my permanent veneers. This side fell off so easily. This side, he had to like saw off or like cut them off because they wouldn't come off. So I guess, I don't know if the glue just like had some saliva under it or something. I don't know. Once he got the temporaries off, he again numbed me all like underneath my gums right here. I went numb. Another 2, 3, maybe 4 hours went by, and he completed the permanents. And he showed me a picture, and I wanted to cry so bad because I love them, but I couldn't because my face was so swollen, and I could not handle it. I couldn't handle it. So actually, I'm gonna pause it, and we're gonna make this a whole nother chapter because we need to talk about the post-procedure. Let's talk about a little post-procedure because this was hands down the hardest part for me. I didn't handle it well. The day or two after, the swelling actually went down relatively quickly compared to the temporary veneers, but that's when the pain set in. Again, I don't know if it's a redhead thing. It has to just be my reaction to the shot or the anesthetic, but it was painful. I cried every night for a week, and I hate taking medicine. Hate it. Even on my period, when Mother Nature comes, I don't take anything. I've had other procedures done. I've had broken arms and stuff, and I have always refused to get the pain meds after because I like think in my head I can handle anything. I had to take Tylenol. And I had to take Tylenol every single day, which is a huge deal for me. It may not be a big deal for you, but for me, anybody who knows me, that's a huge freaking deal because I don't take medicine. I don't take anything except for vitamins and like health stuff. So when I say it was painful, and I could feel it under my nose. And yesterday was the first day that I was actually able to wake up and have a full day without taking any medication or being in pain. That's something nobody prepares you for. Online, it says that there shouldn't be any pain, there shouldn't be la-di-da-da. But I did. that was the worst part for me, was the after procedure. We had to call Dr. Tyner multiple times up at Dentistry by Design and ask him, is this normal? Because I'm in pain. Like, I almost got to a point where I was gonna ask him for way stronger pain meds because it was unbearable. And it almost seemed as if when I laid back to go to bed, that it got worse. And I think it's something like, when sometimes you get like Botox, they'll tell you to sit upright for a certain amount of time. Maybe that's the same case, but they didn't mention anything. They said maybe going forward, they'll tell other people to sit or to like try to sleep elevated a little bit, but they didn't tell me that. And it was very, 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 very painful. Now that it's over, looking back, I'm laughing at myself because there were times I was laying in bed crying, saying I made a horrible mistake, I shouldn't have done it, thinking that I was going to be in pain the rest of my life. And now it's almost comical to me because I am such a hypochondriac. I'm so dramatic that my husband was right. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad. And now I love my smile. I can't help but smile. I feel like Dr. Tyner did it in such a way that if you didn't know me, you might think they're my real teeth and I just whitened them. I don't think that they are bulky. They don't feel any different. It didn't take me long at all to readjust to the bite. Honestly, I think he did a really, really, really good job. I don't have to worry about my corn tooth anymore, and I can just smile with confidence knowing that anything that I do, I will not have that corn tooth sticking out. I no longer have the jaw pain that I had before. I don't have the sensitivity that I had in that specific tooth before, which I will say, you do still have sensitivity, and I think that's going to take a few weeks to go away. But I don't like cold drinks anyways because of that tooth. So, for example, when I go to restaurants, I always ask for water with no ice because I can't drink cold water. It shocks my nerves or something, and it actually hurts. So yeah, now that I'm done and looking back, I am so, so, so pleased with my smile. I feel so confident. I'm very thankful. You know, every single time somebody asks me about them, immediately they say, oh, you got your teeth shaved down, and they get all like serious about it. But I think with anything, you need to do your education. If you know what you're getting into before you get into it, there's no issue. If you don't know what you're getting into and you're just jumping in blindly, I don't recommend you do that with anything. So all of these people who have this misconception about veneers, I just recommend that you do your research and really know what you're doing before you do it, because this is not just a fad. This is something that's lifelong. It's gonna alter your life forever. And if you hate them and you go to another country to get them done and you can't go back to get them fixed, you know, you're putting yourself in a position to fail. And I recommend that you go to somebody who knows what they're doing, who's continuously educating themselves on best practices and ways to do it safely and the least invasive way possible. And if I could recommend anybody, 100% it would be Dr. Tyner at Dentistry by Design. So if you're from Texas, or even if you're from out of state, if y'all fly in, I guarantee you will get the care that you need. Okay, now let's look at before and afters.
Before. Okay, so you see that tooth that was like stuck up? Wait, do it like this so they can. You can see this one was kind of like. Yeah, it was like going in. It's going down.
And this is what they are right now.
Wow. This is wild. What an experience.
And I'll show you a close-up too. To anybody that is watching this, please, please, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get better about this whole YouTube thing and figure out my flow. So any advice, tips, recommendations really helps out. And also, if you have veneers or are considering them, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to have a discussion with you about it and feel things out and maybe encourage you or discourage you, and just kind of talk about your experiences as well and build this little community of ours. The next videos that I plan on covering is going to be more vlog style, in the sense of just checking off my bucket list. And now I can say that veneers, bucket list, check. All right, that's all. Can't wait to talk to y'all in the comments. Bye.